Hello everybody, welcome back to some volume review. Alright, so we got a little bit of lateral area, surface area on the top, and then some volume stuff, so we'll get right into it, okay? So, remember for surface area and lateral area, the formulas are essentially in the surface area formula. So if you know the surface area formula, the lateral area is the first part of that formula, okay? So let's take a look at the prism. First, we have to pick a base, okay? And we'll pick this bottom side down here for our base, okay? So the surface area formula is equal to the perimeter of the base times the height plus, and then we have to include 2 times the area of the base. So this is the lateral area formula built right into that. And we're just going to go to work. So the perimeter is essentially 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4, plus 2 times the area of the base, which is 3 times 4. So this is 6 plus 8, which is 14, plus 2 times 12, which is 24, and then we just add that together. So that's 8, and we get 38. We forgot something here. We forgot the height. The height here is 6, so 14 times 6 here should be 84, and this becomes 108. There we go. So the lateral area is just the perimeter of the base times the height, and that's where this stuff comes into play. Okay, and then that's 84. So here we got our cylinder, same thing. So the surface area, remember, is the lateral area, so 2 pi RH plus the area of the base, 2 of them, 2 pi r squared. So the lateral area is just 2 pi RH. We'll do that first. So 2 pi times 2 times 7. Remember, the distance between the bases is the height. So our lateral area becomes 4 times 7, which is 28 pi. And then we'll do the nearest tenth shortly. We'll leave it there for now. So the surface area is, we know this is going to be, we'll just plug it in just so we can kind of see it in action, right? 2 pi 2 squared. So this is already, we know, 28 pi. This is 4 times 2. This is 8 pi. And then this all day is 36 pi. Okay? Formula here. Surface area formula for a cone is pi RL plus the area of the base, which in this case is pi r squared. Okay? And that means the lateral area formula is the first part of that, just pi r times the slant height. Remember, the slant height is the length of the side, the height of the side here. So in this case 10, and here it's 7. So pi, radius 4, slant height L, lateral area is 40 pi. Surface area, okay, is pi, radius 4, slant height 10, 40 pi again, plus pi times 4 squared. So we know this is 40 pi. We know this is 16 pi. So all day, the surface area is 56 pi. And then our pyramid here, okay, the surface area is the lateral area, which is the area of the base. I'm sorry about that. It's 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. So 1/2 PL plus whatever the area of the base is. So the lateral height is the first part of that, 1/2 PL. And then we just plug in. So the perimeter, 8888, is 32, times the slant height, which we know is 7. And then we can just do the work here. So half of 32 is 16, times 7, this is 112. And then the surface area we know is going to be 112 plus, and then this is 8 times 8 or 64, and that's 176. And we should have units squared on these. So if you're going back in this, okay, inches squared, centimeters squared, feet squared. All right. Volume of each figure below So the volume, remember, for a pyramid is just like a prism, except it's a third. So the volume equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Here the base is this part down here, it's a square. So it's 1/3 the length times the width times the height of the prism, okay? So it's 1/3 4 times 4 times 3. And really it's like 1/3 of 3 is 1, so this is just 16 millimeters cubed, okay? Here's our base, choose the base first. So it's capital B times H for a prism. So it's length times width times height. And then it's 7 times 5 times 5. And this is just 25 times 7, or 175 millimeters cubed. Cone is like a cylinder, but it's a third. So the volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared, area of the base, times the height. So it's 1/3 pi times 3 squared times 5. So here we get 1/3 of 9 is 3 times 5. This is 15 pi. And then if you want to round it out, is 47.1 to the nearest tenth. Okay, this next shape, we want to cut accordingly into a triangular pyramid and a rectangular pyramid. So let's do the volume both. We'll do the volume of the rectangular pyramid first here, okay, which is just the area of the base times the height. So it's length times width times height. And here we'll choose this as our base right in the front. So it's 14 for the length, 8 for the width, and the height is the distance between the two rectangles, so it's 35. So we just multiply 14 times 8 times 35, which is 3,920, and that's feet cubed. Then we'll also do the volume of the triangular pyramid. Now, there's a little bit of work to do on this, because if you look at the face of the pyramid here, the front face, it's a triangle. That's our base. So this side down to the bottom is the same as this, so it's 14. And the height is going to drop down the middle. Now, according to this, the slanted side here is 10. And this should be marked as isosceles. So this really should have like a 10 up here as well. Okay? So when you do this, you create sides of 7 and 7. And essentially, we're now making a right triangle here. So this height, right, 8 squared, is going to equal 10 squared minus 7 squared. So that's 100 minus 49. So 8 squared is going to equal 51. So h is equal to the square root of 51. All right, and then we can plug this. Now the volume formula for a triangular prism, or any prism, is the area of the base times the height. So it's 1/2 the base and height of the triangle times the distance between the two triangles, the height of the prism. So this is 1/2 base, which is 14, times the height, which is the square root of 51, times the height of the actual prism, which is 35. So if we're doing this in simplest radical form for the first part, we don't want to get this crazy decimal out here, okay? We're just going to multiply the numbers and leave the radical as is 51. So it's 1/2 or 0.5 times 14 times 35, which is 245. And then we keep the square root of 51. That is the volume to the simplest radical form, exact answer. So the total volume is just the difference, okay? So it's 3,920 minus 245 times the square root of 51. And this is going to equal 3,920 minus square root of 245 square root of 51. And we get 2,000. Oh, timeout. Remember, we want to do the sum, not the difference. So I made a mistake. I'm going to go up and press the up button to highlight the formula. I'll bring it down, and then I can go and edit it and just change that to a plus. And here I get 5,669.64. It says nearest cubic foot. So the first number is a 6. We'll round that up. We'll make this 5,670. 69 goes up to 70. All right, and there is that guy. Page 2 now. Okay. Find the volume and surface area of a sphere given the radius or diameter. So surface area first. Remember the formula is nice and easy. It's 4 pi r squared. So surface area is 4 pi times 5 squared. and then we're gonna multiply. So really, this is 25 times 4. That's 100 pi. And then here, calculator, 100 pi is 314.1. Nearest whole number would make this 314, and then centimeters squared. Okay, the lateral area. Sorry, there is no lateral area in the sphere. Just joking. Volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So volume 4/3 pi times 5 cubed. Okay, and then 4/3 times 5 to the third. I get 500/3. And then pi, so that would be exact answer. Okay, and then I just take that answer times pi here, and I get 523.5, so that's 524. And then centimeters cubed. All right. Okay, on the next one, we have 8 as the diameter, so the radius is equal to 4. So surface area is going to be 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi times 4 squared, which is going to be 64 pi here. And then that's, well, don't do negative 64. That's 201. And then inches squared. Okay. And then the volume is 4/3, 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi times 4 cubed. So that's 4/3. And then times 4 to the third. So it's 256/3 pi. That goes with the numerator. So it's really 256 pi and then divided by 3, or put the pi at the end. It's up to you. Exact. And then 268, 0, so 268 inches cubed to the nearest whole number. Okay. The volume is given. Sorry, I lied. The surface area is given. We want the volume. So the surface area formula, remember, of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. We'll plug 64 pi in here. Then we just solve for r. So we divide by 4 pi. Remember, the pi's are going to cancel. So 64 divided by 4 is 16. That's what r squared is. Take the square root, and we get 4 for r. So if we come over here and do the volume, it's 4/3 pi r cubed. We're then going to plug 4 in, which, hey, we just did that up here, if you remember. Okay, but we'll do it again. So volume, type it in, should be 256/3 times pi. And there's your exact answer in terms of pi. Okay, 12, a spherical beach ball has a diameter of 1.75. So here's our beach ball. Diameter goes all the way across. So the radius is half of that. So if we do 1.75 cut in half, it's 0.875. So this r here is equal to 0.875. Okay, and the surface area in cubic feet of air. Cubic feet, remember, this is the volume, so it wants to know both. So surface area is 4 pi r squared. So 4 pi times 0.875 squared. And then we just do the math here. Okay, and it says nearest hundredth. So we'll do 4 times pi times 0.875 squared. We get 9.6201, and we want now the nearest hundredth, so that would be 0.62. And once again, this is area, so this is feet squared, okay? And then the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi times 0.875 cubed, okay? And then same thing. So 4/3 pi 75 to the third, and we get 2.08 right, 2.806, so that's 2.81. And then remember, this is feet cubed, okay? So there's your two answers on that one. Number 14, base of rectangular prism. All right, so draw a rectangle, draw another rectangle inside, connect them. There's your base of the rectangular prism here. Has a length of 5, width of 6, not drawn to scale. Find the height that the volume is. So volume, remember rectangular prism base times height, which is really length times width times height, and it's 360. So 360 is equal to 6 times 5 times h. So this is 30h divided out by 30, and we should get an answer of 12 here for the height. Okay. And there you go. And then 12, once again, this is cubic meters, so that should be meters. All right, there's the first two pages. Homework tonight. You guys are going to do the next two. So find the surface area and the volume of our lovely child's toy, and then the pyramid. All right, guys. Hope it helped. Have a good one. See you next time.